just love and grace for everyone, for everyone. Yeah, for everyone.
Brother sun, sister moon, your light shines from the heavens, give glory, all the glory to the Maker. Gentle wind, welcome home. You've been traveling with your song, singing glory, all the glory to people join in the song. There is work to be done for the glory, all the glory of the
So we borrowed this beautiful labyrinth from our friends at Calvary Episcopal Church, and someone in their congregation made it. Some people love this practice. It's really fun because where Noah is, sometimes you feel like you are at the edge and really far from God, and the most surprising thing happens, which is you get really, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but you get really close to the center and you get really close to God when you least expect it. So it's really fun. A couple things, if you decide to walk the labyrinth, if you could just pop your shoes off, that helps take care of the labyrinth for years to come. And just give each other a little bit of space. You want to be able to just, not knock into each other. And I noticed when I was doing it with Noah, that just meant hands up from time to time because I didn't want to knock into him, but that's kind of nice too because you get to give glory to God. So Adam's going to sing for us a little bit or play. All right, he's going to play for us. He's going to sing This Little Light of Mine, which is his awesome. We had a Sunday school moment earlier today. That was an inside joke. No, he's just going to play. And we invite you all to come and do it. We will today. So it's a really nice thing to go into the center close to God and then out. We're out into the world. But if you do that with a group of people, you hit each other. So today we're just going to go in, stay as long as you want to, and then walk off the labyrinth. If you're a big labyrinth person and you've been dying to do one, this will be set up all week in the what's the pretty loungy room next to the real lounge? Boardroom, next to the boardroom. It'll be set up all week long. You can come do it anytime. All right, so I invite you to come and walk this labyrinth.
I chased you into the light. Yeah, I stayed there to see myself pure. All the ashes and scars they pale in comparison to yours. There were footprints the size of the universe. There were fortunes that no one could earn. So I chased you from the still, and I hope that I never turn. From the river's mouth to the mountain peak, through the great divide and the valley deep, I need you to carry me. Carry me along my way, but I'm in too deep. I need you to carry me. You were calling me into the deep, into the waters unknown I could find. You were calling me out beyond my fears, where my darkness finds rest in your light. I found a fortress where I could surrender, where my shame didn't hide what I lack. And so I chased you out from the still, 'cause I know that I ain't never coming back. From the river's mouth to the mountain peak, through the great divide and the ocean's deep, I need you to carry me. Carry me along my way, but I'm in too deep. I need you to carry me. I found a place where the past was forgiven, where my mistakes met a grace I couldn't earn. And so I piled up my excuses and defenses in the night. Then I lit a match, stepped back and watched them burn. From the river's mouth to the mountain peak, through the great divide and the waters deep, I need you to carry me. Carry me along my way, but I'm in too deep. I need you to carry me. I need you to carry me. From the day that I was born to the end of these seas, I need you to carry me.
So, today, this evening, we are talking about having a conversation. And I know that this isn't a conversation, but there were some delightful things about what was going on in the labyrinth that were like a conversation. Like some people were walking/talking really, really fast. And sometimes people would like come and they would be like face to face, and there's this delightful little stepping aside that I think can sometimes happen in a conversation. People were going at a different speed. They were all moving together and getting to a place. And sometimes they felt like they were really far from the center, and they ended up in the same place. In some ways, that's what happens in a conversation. I would love for you to turn to the person that you came with or someone that you know sitting next to you. And I'd just love for you to talk about an important conversation that you had in your life. It could be the conversation that you had where you realized that you were talking to the person you wanted to spend your life with. It could be a conversation about the school that you wanted to go to. It could be a conversation about a job you're going to take. Any important conversation that you can remember, just talk, and then we'll share a couple of those out. But just think about a conversation that really helped to change things in your life. So what are some of those conversations that came up as important ones in your lives? Anyone willing to share? You guys look so cozy. What about an important conversation for you guys, Becky? A dog and a baby, absolutely. That's a really big conversation for sure. Probably an ongoing one too. What about another important conversation? Who else has one? Bennett's, what did you guys come up with? That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, like conversations can really, they can transform us. They can change. We can be so caught up in them that we turn the wrong way on the turnpike. I love it. And a third one, does anyone else have a conversation, just a conversation that's been important? Yeah, Noni. So I'm sure that Rachel is enjoying the conversation about the connection between church and nursery school. But yeah, it really it's amazing how things kind of take on a life of their own over time. So what we are going to be talking about today is this conversation between Jesus and the woman at the well. Now, just a quick, I know if you were here this morning, you might have heard this too. So the problem with John is that these passages are really, really, really long. So we're not going to read every word of the passage today because it goes on and on. It's like really long. So anyway, I wanted to highlight a couple of things here. One thing, and there is some disagreement about this, but one thing that's really fun, there's this question about this town. We're going to call it Sychar or Sychar. It's a Samaritan village, and you can see it on the map here. Now, the typical way to go from Jerusalem to Galilee, this is right up here, would be to head over from Jerusalem to Jericho and then walk along the Jordan River. Anyone ever taken a hike in the middle of the desert? Raise your hand, Adam, if you have had experience walking in the desert. What do you want a lot of, Jeff and Adam, in the desert while you're walking? Water. Why is that? Because otherwise you die. Yes. Hydrate or dehydrate? Absolutely. We want to stay hydrated. So typically people would walk over from Jerusalem to, and actually really fun. You can, it's just sort of a goofy thing, but you can do a little YouTube journey if you don't have a chance to go to the Holy Land. There are all these people who hike from Jerusalem to Jericho. It's this really cool hike, and it's along this beautiful spring-fed stream. And you get to see these people who are all like hot, and they get really excited at the end, and they like jump in the water. So it's just really delightful. I highly recommend. And then they would walk along the river. Jesus does not do that. Jesus walks kind of the direct route to Nazareth, and he walks up right like that. And we hear that when he gets there, that he is hot and he is tired. He is worn out by the trip. and he sat down at the well in the middle of the day. Then he sends the disciples into town to get some food, and we get this amazing conversation next. Now, we are looking at the message by Eugene Peterson today, which is really fun and really fresh. His level of sass for the woman at the well is a little higher than you might see in other interpretations, but I really want to hear her voice tonight as strong and persistent and confident and the kind of person that you would notice in the room. This lady has leadership. This lady is someone that people notice. The Samaritan woman, so he asks for, "Would you give me a drink of water?" The Samaritan woman, taken aback, asked, "How come you, a Jew, are asking me, a Samaritan woman, for a drink?" Jews in those days wouldn't be caught dead talking to Samaritans. Oof. That's a little nasty, isn't it? The reason for that is, of course, because the Samaritans were taken over. Northern and Southern Kingdom used to be one united kingdom. The Northern Kingdom was taken over, and the Samaritans were conquered, and they were forced to take on religious practices that were not their own, and so they had a syncretic culture and religion. And the Jews in Judah were not taken over, and their religion was allowed to remain pure, and so the Jews in Judah did not like the people of Samaria, who considered themselves Jewish, but who did not have the same practices because they had been a conquered people. There's a sadness, there's a brokenness in the relationship between these two cultures. One that Jesus very much went out to heal over and over and over again. Jesus goes to Samaria all the time in his ministry. Jesus answered, "If you knew the generosity of God and who I am, you would be asking me for a drink, and I would give you fresh, living water." The woman said, "Sir, you don't even have a bucket to draw with, and this well is deep. So how are you going to get this living water? Are you a better man than our ancestor Jacob, who dug this well and drank from it, he and his sons and his livestock, and passed it down to us?" Jesus said, "Everyone who drinks this water will get thirsty again and again. Anyone who drinks the water I give will never thirst." Not ever. "The water I give will be an artesian spring within gushing fountains of endless life." Just imagine it's really hot and really dry, and how good that sounds. The woman said, "Sir, give me this water so I won't ever get thirsty. I won't ever have to come back again to this well." He said, "Go call your husband and then come back." This part is not always my favorite part of the Bible. Ooh, this is a lot. "I have no husband," she said. "That's nicely put, I have no husband. You've had 5 husbands, and the man you're living with now isn't even your husband. You spoke the truth there, sure enough." "Oh, you're a prophet." Now, this is where Peterson gets a little harsher than I would like, and the sass is a little higher, because I've got to tell you, when people say things about me that are not complimentary and are true, I usually that's what I do. I don't know what you do. When someone says, "You know, Deborah, you're a little cranky when you clean the house," I might look up to the side. I might say, let me get you a drink of water. I'm going to change the subject. I'm going to go. Oh, I think I have to go pick up the kids. Oh, got a call, right? But this woman says, "You are a prophet." She recognizes Jesus for who he is when he reveals a truth about her that is not so nice. I just think that takes a ton of grit, and it makes me really admire her. They go into this great conversation about worship. This is because the Jews in Judah said, you are not really Jewish. You don't worship in the right places. By the way, you're not allowed to come worship in Jerusalem. You have to worship in Samaria, and that means that you're not Jewish. So what she's talking about here is the old conflict between Jews in Samaria and Jews in Judah. And then the woman said, I don't know about that. I do know that the Messiah is coming. When he arrives, we'll get the whole story. She's waiting for the Messiah too. And this is what Jesus says. I am he. The unspeakable name of God is spoken to her. I am. Don't miss that. I am he. Jesus reveals himself fully as the Messiah to the woman on the well. This is the first and most powerful statement of who he is, and he chooses to reveal himself in the middle of the day in the hottest desert to this woman who's had 5 husbands, and the man that she's living with now, she is not married to him. I am he. You don't have to wait any longer or look any further. Great part of the story, my favorite part of the story. The woman dumps her bucket. She leaves her bucket at the well. Just that little detail. She doesn't need that water anymore. She's got it. She runs to town. She tells the whole town about it. Jesus stays there in Sychar for 2 days. He converts the entire village. They all believe him because of what she says to them, because she sees who Jesus is, and she has this amazing conversation with him. So conversations. I'm a philosophy major. I love the dialectic. I not only read Plato and Socrates, I translated them. And I believe in the huge power of a conversation to help us understand the truth, to help us get from one place to another. And I studied Hegel, who says that the only way to change anything is through a conversation. Clearly someone who talks too much for a living, but still, if you have one person with one idea and one person with another idea, if they can listen to each other and they can hear one another, that they get to a new place, a third place, not an A, not a B, but this third way, this third thing. And in fact, taking that same idea, Lev Vygotsky, who is an educational theorist, said that especially when you have people learning language from each other, people with different backgrounds, different places, that you get this especially. And what happens is you develop a new understanding, a new way of meaning by talking with someone from a different culture. In other words, friends, the power of conversation, especially with someone that you don't know or wouldn't usually talk to, that is the thing that can help us not only change our ideas or change our mind or move from a kind of, one of my commentators called Jesus, moving from the rude Jew, the kind of rude Jew. I mean, I know we don't like to think of Jesus as being rude, but I mean, he's kind of rude. Hey, lady, get me a drink of water. To this moment of beautiful vulnerability and connection, where she can reveal something about herself, he can reveal something about himself. And so, what we learn about conversation is that it is the thing that not only lets us change our mind, it's the thing that allows us to solve our community's most complex problems, our church's most complex problems. In fact, the idea being that the answers to the problem are in the community. All we need to do is listen to one another. And so I have a very big challenge for you. I want you to find someone in this room that you didn't come with today, that you don't usually talk to, someone that you don't know well. And I want you to think about a time when you have been changed by a conversation and how you know. The woman at the well, we know she was changed when she leaves that bucket behind. She's found the living water. How did you know that you were changed from the conversation? So go ahead and find someone that you don't usually talk to, and we'll have that conversation together. So in thinking about those conversations, I invite you to think about how you can go from a place of separation, different cultures, different ideas, a man versus a woman, someone from Judah versus someone from Samaria, Jesus and the sassy woman at the well, and how you can move from a place of difference and division into a place of maybe a little banter, a little fun, and even a place of real vulnerability, and a place where you can let yourself be known in a different way. Because that, friends in Christ, is the power that we see between this woman and the well and Jesus. That's the power of that living water. That's the gift that we all get to have, to find those ways where there's no way, and where we even get to, on occasion, drop our bucket and go on a completely different path. So we are going to continue worship with some beautiful songs, and if anyone is inspired to spend some more time in the labyrinth, you certainly can do that now or at the end of worship. And I invite you to eat pizza, but just don't eat pizza on the labyrinth, please.